Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the 2019 State of the School presentation. Over the next 20 minutes, I'll be delivering a report to you on the current state of WCS and a glimpse into its future. I'll be sharing some of the stories that I hope give you the same satisfaction and encouragement they provide me. I'll provide some data and details that might give you a better picture of how we've been doing. I'm so glad that you're a vested partner in our mission to develop the mind of Christ in our students. So let's get started. This past spring, we graduated 82 Warriors, 79 of them bound for college, with a combined $4.2 million in scholarship offers, and 3 others that entered a gap year program in order to serve in short-term mission projects around the world. One graduate from that class was Ari Fahimi. In some text communications recently with Ari, he shared the following about his freshman year at UCLA, where he's double majoring in Chinese and Middle Eastern studies. He wrote to us, "It can be a little intimidating being taught by renowned professors, but at WC, Dr. Price prepared me for the workload. This environment has really made me appreciate the biblical background that I was so fortunate to have, especially being in a place where some people genuinely don't know about Jesus." Now, as an interesting aside, he also mentioned, "It's a bit weird casually running into celebrities like Shaq and Tom Hardy." Ari has taught ESL classes at his church for Chinese, Japanese, Somali, and other folks who are learning English. He said his love of language, coupled with his desire to serve the Lord, compelled him to take this on. Now, finding a vocational calling out of their studies like Ari has done is exactly what we hope WC provides our students. And this fall, we welcomed 143 new students to our school, including 47 kindergartners, with that hope and task for each of them. As they joined our returning students, they've been part of some significant successes across many different measures. Consider our most recent set of standardized test scores. Once again, our aggregate scores at each grade level in the elementary and middle school placed us well within the top 15% of all schools nationwide in both reading and math. While that particular measure isn't available for science and social studies, our students did exceptionally well there also. Take a look at this graph. This graph shows the percentage of our students at each grade level who scored above the national mean in each discipline. For instance, if you look at our 4th grade scores, you'll note that the 89 means that 89% of our 4th graders scored above the national mean in that total battery of tests. The scores range from a 73rd median percentile to a 95th median percentile. And I can say that these scores are a notable increase over our scores from a decade or more ago. And our scores from a decade ago were still pretty good. Currently, these scores are exceptional. At the high school, our average composite ACT for the graduating class of 2018 was nearly 26, while the national average was below 21. Now, our average composite score means that half of our students scored in the top 20% of students nationally. That's another exceptional indicator. We know that these measures can be limited in scope. Standardized test scores measure nothing of the artistic or kinesthetic realm, of leadership formation, of creating solutions to real-world problems. Nevertheless, our students are doing remarkable things in these realms also. For example, our high school choir recently competed this month in the Ohio Music Educator Association's competition, and in 27 separate events, they received 19 superior ratings and 8 excellent ratings. The band and orchestra took part in 14 events, receiving 8 superior ratings and 3 excellent ratings. 4 middle school band members were selected for the District 15 Honor Band, 3 for the Ohio State University Honors Band, and 2 for the Capital University Cadet Band. 130 of our students, about half of which are in our elementary school, take instruction in our strings and orchestra program. That represents about a third of our 3rd through 5th grade students. Our K-12 music program continues to establish itself really as one of the finest small school music departments in Central Ohio. These 3 visual arts students, Emma Kurzenabe, Luke Simons, and Liz Mason, were recently recognized by the prestigious Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. Emma's and Luke's work will be on display in an upcoming show at the Columbus College of Art and Design, and Emma's Gold Key winning piece will compete at the national level this spring in New York. Over the last year, 10 WCS student athletes have been named League Player of the Year, and most recently, Lena Morgan finished as the OHSAA state runner-up in diving. Our drama department has been busy as well, with 5 drama productions over the last year at the middle school and high school, involving nearly 100 students. If you missed last week's production of Big Fish, you'll want to make plans now to catch this spring's performance of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. Finally, our elementary students are well on their way to reading 1,600 books this week as part of its annual Celebrate Reading Week. And there's so much more I could share. It's clear that our students do a lot of things that are successful. However, what really makes us proud is when they are successful at being something rather than doing something. In other words, when they excel at being or becoming a particular kind of person. We're far more encouraged by these successes. Now take these stories for example. These 4 middle school students, Maddie Ball, Morgan Davis, Jocelyn Delcor, and Grace Lenahan, in response to Mr. Klutz's challenge during a class study of Nehemiah to find a need in the community and fix it, took it upon themselves to organize a collection of outerwear and hygiene products for homeless veterans in the area. Other groups served voluntarily throughout our communities, learning that, as the Old Testament prophet Jeremiah did, when we seek the prosperity of our city, we prosper as well. Students continue to take the lead also in conversations regarding race and the biblical dynamic between diversity and unity that our culture gets wrong on so many levels. Now, there can be complex issues involved in this, and we don't always agree, but many of our students are courageously taking them on anyway. And they do so because they've explicitly expressed the need for the church to take the lead on the cultural issues fracturing our country. And that's exactly the kind of aspiration that we want them to have. And even while they grieve the passing of our dear friends Miriam this year and Isabel last year, they become ministers of grace to each other, learning what it means to be struck down but not abandoned, perplexed but not in despair. These lessons are the things that will serve them well over time as their souls are formed in the knowledge of God. And so our work as a school is done in order to position Worthington Christian so that its students will continue to flourish in every way as human beings and not simply as human doings. Now, guiding us in this work, as you may know, is our 5-year strategic plan that highlights 4 critical areas of school growth: teaching and learning, faculty, finances, and facilities. Let me give you a brief glimpse at the progress and status in each of these areas. Now, since teaching and learning and faculty are so closely related, I'll address these simultaneously. I've already shared a bit of our standardized test scores. As I mentioned, these scores place us within the top 15% of all schools nationwide. Qualifying under this criteria is one of the prerequisites for applying to the U.S. Department of Education's National Blue Ribbon Award program in the Exemplary High Performing School category. You may recall that our elementary school was named a National Blue Ribbon School in 2016. I am pleased to announce that just recently, the Council on American Private Education has nominated Worthington Christian Middle School to the U.S. Department of Education as a finalist for the 2019 National Blue Ribbon Award. Congratulations to the middle school administration, faculty, staff, and students on this fine achievement. Award winners are selected after an extensive application from the pool of finalists and will be announced in September of this year. And we'll be sure to keep you updated. Excuse me. We continue to invest in our faculty's professional development, particularly in the field of instructional design. We're in the 2nd year of integrating the principles of understanding by design, a backward approach to planning that begins with the end in mind. Our 3 professional development days this year were dedicated to training by our UBD consultant, who spent many days throughout the school year meeting one-on-one with each of our faculty, coaching them on the instructional design process. This development work is being done with an eye toward deepening student understanding. Our instructional technology approach changed this year also as we began partnering with VARTEC, an educational technology management group that specializes in developing a school's infrastructure, planning, and usage of educational technology. Through the reallocation of funding, we've made an almost $250,000 investment in this partnership every year. I spent some time recently in Mrs. Scopp's first grade classroom as she has effectively integrated the use of iPad technology into her instruction. Here's what she had to say about the role of this technology in her classroom.
Adding one-to-one iPads in first grade has been a game changer. It allows students to be able to be challenged at their own individual levels in reading and math through a variety of interactive and engaging games. Not only do those students get excited to get onto the iPads, but it also stretches their thinking and challenges them to be able to work on the skills that have already been taught in the classroom. We love to get out the iPads. Students are able to work on their typing skills using the keyboard. They're able to work on math skills and math facts. They're able to practice the phonics skills that we have taught as teachers. It's an engaging tool that allows for these digital natives to be able to get engaged in their learning and have fun doing it as well.
We've also invested in the elementary school by expanding the instructional areas of art, music, and physical education. We added an additional 100 minutes of instructional time each week in these areas compared to last year. And then as a side benefit, classroom teachers now have that additional time for planning and collaboration as well. Finally, we're encouraged by the ongoing work of curricular development. You may recall that a couple years ago, as a result of our work on our mathematics curriculum, we made a significant change in our approach to mathematics instruction at the elementary and middle school levels. As a result of that change and the training we provided to our teachers, we've seen our math scores improve noticeably. As you see in this chart, in 5 of the 8 grades in which we made the change in curricular approach, we have seen significant improvement in test scores. The other 3 grades remain steady. The scores went from being a relatively weak curricular area to an area of strength. So this type of curricular review that's done annually is done annually, with this year's work being done in the fields of biblical studies and physical education. Now let's move on now. Just take a look at school finances. This area provides us obviously with the resources to be able to accomplish the kinds of things that directly benefit our students. So first, let's take a look at how last year's budget ended, and then the results of this year's annual audit, and then where we stand through the first 7 months of this fiscal year. For the fiscal year that ended in June 2018, the school had a combined budget of just over $7.9 million. This amounts to $8,600 per pupil. Keep in mind, this is an average for all K-12 students. The actual per pupil spending will be lower for an elementary student and higher for a high school student due to the nature of the programming in those buildings. But as you can see, our total expenses for the year were about $13,000 under our total revenue, so our budget has run in the black for 5 consecutive years. Every year, WCS undergoes an audit performed by a local accounting firm, most recently for the fiscal year ending in June 2018. Once again, I'm pleased to report the school received a clean audit opinion with no material weaknesses noted. The first 7 months of this fiscal year have been strong. While our revenue projections so far have been right on target, we have been able to keep expenses at $64,000 below projections, so we're tracking for a very good end to this fiscal year as well. The primary areas of expense savings include athletics, facilities, transportation, and healthcare premiums. I just want to commend our finance department and each of our department heads for managing their budgets very efficiently. I can say that each of them are very good stewards of the resources that they have. Our financial statements and our audit report are available for review by community members who are interested, simply by contacting our finance department, through the main administrative office. And you can find that contact information on our website, worthingtonchristian.com. Now, perhaps the most exciting portion of our strategic plan report, that's facilities. As you probably already know, tomorrow afternoon we will be holding our groundbreaking ceremony for construction on the new Tom Angel Upper School campus of Worthington Christian School. We invite everyone in our community to attend the 2 o'clock celebration in the Hogue Center Gymnasium and then stay for a reception afterward in the Commons. For those unable to attend, our student broadcast team will be streaming it live on Facebook, just like you're watching it tonight. This groundbreaking will be a testament to God's faithfulness to WC over the years. As He's provided for the school over its first 46 years, this new building will be a sign that He'll continue to do so over the next 46. And the benefits to our students are many and solve a lot of our immediate needs. The new construction will include 10 new classrooms, 4 science labs, 2 art studios, individual practice spaces for music groups, a larger library with spaces for student collaboration, an expanded weight training facility, and a single secure building located on the same campus as our athletic facilities. As the lower school moves to its new campus, which is currently housed at the high school, the lower school is going to benefit from a kindergarten through 6th grade that will finally be located on a single campus for increased collaboration across faculty. It'll benefit from a significantly larger library, improved gym space for physical education, and a more energy efficient campus in a location much more conveniently located to the majority of our families. Now keep in mind that this is step 2 of our first phase. We completed the first step last year when the middle school moved out of the modular buildings into the new classrooms in the main building. But even with both of these steps completed, we aren't finished. We will continue to raise $500,000 to assist with furnishing the new spaces. If you're interested in participating in that drive, please contact our advancement department. As well, the Forward Together project has positioned us for future projects, such as an expansion on both campuses, a new performing arts center for concerts, drama productions, and chapels, and needed stadium renovations, which would include field turf. Now, there's no timeline for the completion of any of these projects other than when God provides the resources through His people, but we will definitely be keeping them on the table. Now, in closing, this week I had the privilege of participating in the elementary school's Celebrate Reading Week, portraying the man with the yellow hat from H.A. Ray's Curious George series. It's a wonderful week of encouraging our students to spend time reading rich texts and exploring some fabulous literature. While at the elementary school, I was struck by these 2 quilts that were on display there. If you're at the elementary school anytime soon, you'll want to check them out. They're a result of a project driven by senior art student Olivia Howard in collaboration with inmates from the Ohio Women's Reformatory in Marysville. This is Olivia and junior Jacqueline Hamilton with teacher Beth Heisey, the reformatory warden, and several inmates who participated in the program that was driven by Olivia. Our high school art students have collaborated with the female inmates to produce an art show currently on display at the elementary school, representing characters from children's books as a means to encourage our young students to develop good reading habits by engaging with great books. Olivia is an outstanding art student, having received a perfect score of 5 on her AP Art Portfolio project as a junior, and plans to study criminal justice next fall at Bowling Green. As Mrs. Heisey commented, the program demonstrates that we stand together with those who are trying to put their lives back together in prison. The inmates and Warden Ronnie Burks have made a commitment to partner with WC as we are trying to help keep others out of that prison. Our students are learning that when the city around them flourishes because of their work, they will flourish as well. And it's so exciting to be a part of that. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope to see you tomorrow at the groundbreaking. Have a great evening.